Fungua pod.
Twende kazi. Mashallah brothers. Assalamu alaikum. We are here fresh from the Saudi Arabian BahrainGP. Double. It's actually a triple if you add Suzuka on top of it. So konnichiwa for that. Yeah, I got it from here. Yeah, damn. Now, it's been a minute before we've had a show. I'm your boy, is the trouble man himself, first and foremost. Twice as nice, smooth as ice, never had a bad day in my life. And to my left,
Ushiri, the stat man himself.
The stat man himself. Where's the psych? You need to be more psyched up. Sama fine ya Max Verstappen ilikufikia. To my right,
simply lovely effing down.
Profanity is not allowed.
Everything inside there.
We are going to find him later for that. Now, special episode today. It's been a minute. 3 wonderful races have happened. We are talking about the Suzuka one, the Bahrain one, and Jeddah, Konish. So Saudi Arabia is the most recent one. So this episode is fresh as it can be, fresher than your groceries down the street or wherever you shop. A lot to discuss today, and I'm thinking we take this to another level. This won't be a conventional discussion. This will be one we take guys, pick them apart, give everybody some inside information if we have any, and most importantly, try our best to speculate, because that's what we do here. We speculate. We don't have any proof. We just give you a POV.
Yeah, as we are. This is not a factual show. It's an entertainment show.
It's an entertainment show.
I think I'm in the wrong place.
It's not a factual show, and this is coming from the start. This is not a factual show. We are here. How do we put it? This is the pitbull discussions where the finish line is just the beginning.
Yeah,
that's how we put it. So let's get straight into it. And our opener. Who's our opener today? I'm thinking British.
Mzee.
I'm thinking British.
Mzee.
I have
the driver who's giving you sleepless nights.
There's a
what?
How do I put it?
What?
We are going to start with our 7-time world champion, Lewis Hamilton,
the GOAT himself.
Yeah.
He's still
Is that your impression of a goat?
What? Who?
The Ferrari driver. Is he now a solid second driver at Ferrari?
You could say that. You could say that.
Again, this is not a factual show. So anything goes, yeah? Got it.
Okay. Let's get it, huh?
Yeah, he it's not like being a second driver. It is something like you choose. Results dictate.
You say you're talking about results dictating where you end up, or how you're treated by the team.
Yeah,
but the team aren't really treating him like a second driver, are they?
Not yet.
So it's a matter of time for you.
Come on, Ferrari needs to take those training wheels off.
You still think he's on training wheels?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a race winner this year.
What?
Yeah, he has won a race this year, no?
Have a race.
No, you have to put sprint in front of race before you say race, okay?
I mean,
this is a factual show. I know it's not factual, but please.
You can't say he's a race winner in 2025.
He's a sprint race winner.
Okay.
You know, like Oscar had been a sprint race winner for a very long time, and it did not count as a race winner.
He had his maiden win.
Yeah.
I tend more often than not to understand, to struggle. I tend to struggle to understand who is in a Williams of the two, between him and Carlos, because Carlos is in a Williams, but more often than not, in the race, during the race, they're together. They're at par. Okopale P7, P8, P7, P8. They just he came for number 8 at Ferrari, but the number 8 was P8. We weren't sure which P8 he's coming for, but that's the number 8 he's getting right now. And guys have now started asking questions. Is he really, really, really out of touch with his top game, with his top form, or a Ferrari just that bad?
Hamilton has spent a huge chunk of his career driving for Mercedes. So he's already adapted to a particular style. Jumping to Ferrari and taking into consideration he's struggled this entire ground effect era, I wasn't thinking that he was going to like trade blues with Charles out of the box. Because the Ferrari has always been tricky. Even Carlos had to spend some time just to get on top of it. So I think Ferrari, it will get to a point where the questions that fans have within Ferrari, they're also going to be asking the same questions. Hamilton is not getting younger anytime soon. Maybe he still has the minerals
just turned 40
to extract a championship, but is Ferrari willing to take that gamble to give him another year when they can swap him out and bring Oliver Behrman, who can actually pair with Charles and help win the constructors and maybe even help Charles get the drivers.
You keep talking about minerals and him being able to still extract a world championship somewhere. Now, is it the drivers' championship you're talking about, or is it the constructors' championship you're talking about?
Both.
Because
to the question that you're asking me, I would look at how Sebastian's stint, how it was, and how they treated Sebastian. Because I don't think they are going to approach any different. And as we know, Ferrari don't like taking young guys. They like people at least who have some experience. So for Behrman, at least 2 years, I think, is the minimum for him before he is graduated. So how many years did Seb spend in Ferrari?
5.
He spent 5 years.
Yeah.
So I think for me, if you're asking the same question, I think they are going to give him time, at least for this year, next year, and maybe one more year.
Okay.
Well, you know the consequence of that is Ferrari are taking a gamble on both championships.
How I'm going to put it,
because there are younger guys who are significantly faster, and yes, 26 is a gamble. You don't know if Ferrari are going to come on top there with the best car. But come on.
One thing I realized about Ferrari, I think, you see, the heritage money they get is actually...
It's enough. They don't care about constructor points.
Because they finished P2 last year.
Yeah.
The money for P2 is less than the heritage.
God damn it.
You know that?
Yeah.
So like, even if they get P2,
No,
P3...
listen, basically what you're talking about
them
is
it's a
Ferrari.
business.
What you're talking about is you're basically answering will Ferrari fall off question by they'll never fall off because they'll always have enough money.
Yeah, they will always have that money.
Okay, now that aside, now let me give you a POV where you guys, I don't think you guys are looking at the POV. Now you're talking about the championship, and I don't know if we talked about this on the pod or we talked about this in the spaces. There's one time I was telling you guys when Hamilton finally arrives at Ferrari, it won't be the case of, I don't expect him to challenge in the first year. I talked about it being a case of, I think it's him giving Charles all the advice necessary for Charles to finally get it over the line and win that first drivers' championship.
What advice?
I don't know, but I think,
A supporting cast.
maybe I can put it that way.
22. Charles was so close to getting the championship in 22.
Wasn't really that close. He was closer in 24 than he was in 22. Statistically. Statistically, he was
Drivers'
closer in 20.
championship.
Yeah, he was closer in 24 than in 22.
The one thing that will always let Charles down, it's the car and the Ferrari strategy. Those two things.
And that's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about.
Charles as a driver,
Hamilton
he's actually say he's okay. If he's given like that McLaren, he's going to wipe the floor with everyone.
I don't think Ferrari could care any less if Hamilton wins the championship. I think for them, they've already recouped what they wanted to get with Hamilton.
What? Wait. But I thought last year you said, was it last year? There was a time you were saying there was this fantasy that you had in your head. Hamilton is going to get that 8.
I mean,
he's going to get the 8.
if he gets, that's me getting carried away. That's me.
It was called Project what? Wait, Project.
When Ace talks.
And now you're changing the tune.
When Ace talks, I'm trying to see whether it's the Tifosi talking
or
it's the Ace as the guy on the pod.
Yeah, I have those two sides to me.
Because you have those two sides. So I usually try to determine which, because some of them is like Tifosi.
No, what I'm trying to tell you guys objectively is, I mean, if he gets the 8th at Ferrari, well and good. And it will be even better for Ferrari marketing-wise.
Okay.
Yeah? But I do believe at the heart of Ferrari, at their soul, they really want Charles to be a successful project for them. And Ferrari were a team who always had issues with their pit stops.
But does that have to do with Hamilton?
I'm not saying
it's more of Fred than Hamilton.
Yeah, it's more of Fred than Hamilton. And I expected Fred to do this because I also talked about the Fred changing culture things at Ferrari. But
so has Fred not accomplished?
Fred coming in,
accomplishing?
Hamilton coming in, this, we are now building a new house, basically.
What?
We are not papering over the cracks. The foundations are now being shaken up.
And how's that working out?
It's only been 5 races. You guys are overreacting. It's only been 5 races.
No, I'm not overreacting. I'm just asking you, like, how How is that?
Let me talk to my Ferrari.
Is everything going?
Let me talk
according-
to my Tifosi brothers.
Talk to them, Bana.
By the way,
Brothers and
just
sisters,
to encourage
I'm not
them.
talking to
It's
Team
not-
LH.
It's not
I'm
looking
talking to
good.
the Tifosi.
It's not
Okay.
looking good, bruv.
I'm talking to the Tifosi.
Yeah.
I still think Hamilton is playing a crucial role behind the scenes in developing the car because he talked about the upgrade package, the package that came in Bahrain.
What? Hamilton developing car?
Yeah, he's also helping.
Yeah, you're speaking like the Mercedes fans now.
No, remember,
Hey, same
coming
script,
into this year,
same
listen,
script.
coming into this
I
year,
have seen this before.
no, coming into this year, I'm not letting you guys get away with it. Coming into this year, remember we talked about 95% of the car being a completely new car. The suspension setup was also different.
I've seen this
Hamfosi.
script before, man.
They won't admit it, but I'm telling you guys, when Charles is winning that championship in Abu Dhabi, I will be here. I will be here.
2025.
2025.
Me, all I know is that the ground effect, Hamilton is so glad that they are ending
they're
this year.
Yeah, he's
Very
struggled
happy.
from day
Yeah,
one.
yeah. He's so happy they're ending this
All I
year.
know
So
is-
for this year, he has closed that chapter.
I don't care how good the McLarens are looking. I just know none of their drivers is winning the
You know,
championship.
again, back to the question that I asked, and apologies for going back to this.
Yeah.
Then why did Ferrari take this gamble?
Of getting him.
This is a business gamble. This is not a sporting gamble. Come on.
Thank you.
That is a
You
no-brainer.
said it.
Yeah. yeah.
Anybody with half a brain can look it up and see this is not a sporting gamble. This is a business gamble.
FOM, I don't
Yes.
know, the other guys who,
Hey.
FIA, you guys need to talk about that heritage money.
Remember?
Yeah,
Needs to be slapped. Ferrari, the only incentive that Ferrari needs is cash that they get from the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah.
And they don't have that.
Because if they know that still at the end of the day they'll get some tunes from the heritage, then they'll
Yeah.
be like, to them it will always be business.
It will be business, yeah.
Charles will be there to hold the flowers, but at the end of the day, it's about the check.
At the sporting side of things, Charles is in charge. The business side of things, Hamilton is everything.
Nah.
Nah, that's how it is.
Let Hamilton go. Give that opportunity.
Nah, they're not letting him
Hey,
go
hey,
anywhere.
let me land one. Let Hamilton go and give the chance to someone who's promising. Bearman.
No. That's why we have other teams like Haas to let people be promising there. You get me? Promise over there.
Then they come retired at Ferrari. Got it.
Now, listen, we're still letting guys catch up. We still have 16 championships. We're still letting guys catch up. And Hamilton, listen, if he wants to try to gun for the 8th, I mean, you know.
Yeah. Personally, I would love that.
Yeah.
But I'm being realistic with what's happening to him now.
Yeah.
It's every day, as in after almost every race weekend, it's like he's spiraling down. Yes.
I mean, he did say he wants a brain transplant.
Yes, he's spiraling down. As in, it's you get to that point, and remember there was a time we were talking about imposter syndrome, where you actually question yourself, like, am I good enough? Am I?
And
I talked about opening a can of worms sometime in the future.
By the
I
way,
will
I
open
hate-
that can of worms.
I hate it by the way when drivers do that. Because, first of all, you are one of the luckiest people on earth. Being able to drive even a Ferrari, not even a Formula 1 car, a Ferrari. You should take a leaf from Checo. Checo, even when things are bad, he's not there. Like, he's saying, oh, maybe he's talking about how things went bad for him. But he's not like there, like being the saddest person in the world. Yeah. And yet, everybody is on his neck. But here, I don't think anybody is on Hamilton's neck. But when he's there giving press conference, he's like the saddest person in the world.
No,
Like,
listen, he
you
has
can-
to
you can tell
empathize with
there's
his
a
fans.
difference.
He has to empathize with his fans because he knows he's letting them down. He knows the millions and the billions and the billions of fans.
Billions?
Yeah, billions.
Nah, you're exaggerating.
Yeah,
this.
billions. Come on.
It's not a factual show.
So that's the theme of the day. Okay, that's the theme of the day. Anyway, the millions of fans who support him globally. I mean, he has to empathize with them because he's over there, taking some cool pics, giving us wallpapers and
He's
whatnot.
going through it, man.
And then
I wish him all the best.
Come race day.
I know it's banter, but I really feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
And I wish him all the best. I hope he's able to
Never
get out-
feel sorry
get-
for these drivers.
No,
That's what I
no,
always
no.
say.
Hey.
Never feel sorry for these drivers, man. Those guys are making more money than I'll ever make in my life. And I'm here feeling sorry for such a person. No, it will never happen in my
Jury's
life.
still out for me on that. I don't know if they're making more money than I'll ever make in my life. The jury's still out. But all I can say is I understand where you're coming from. And we definitely want to see Hamilton challenging for wins, and all that. I don't see the number 8 coming. I genuinely don't.
I want to see him fight for that.
But I know a championship itatoka mahali. We will have a constructors, a driver somewhere.
There's this scenario, there's this picture, which I think the sport needs. Or there's this scenario which needs to happen for Formula 1 to get back to the 2021 or the 22 levels of excitement. We need to have an old, as in a generation versus this other generation. You see, like MotoGP, now we have Marquez, who's slapping all these new kids around the block. Yeah?
He's in the fastest bike, come on.
Yeah, okay, it's okay. But he's wiping the floor with these new kids.
Yeah.
I think Formula 1 needs to have, like, Hamilton. Imagine if Hamilton or Alonso.
An old guard versus new kids on the blocks type situation.
Da.
So where does Max fall into that?
Are they making a movie about that?
Yeah, they're making... Yeah. Anyway.
The F1 movie.
Yeah. Isn't that what it's about?
There's an old guy coming and a young guy, but I don't know.
But is the old guy winning?
We don't know.
So from the trailer, the old guy has won something, but the new guy hasn't won anything.
Wait, we're talking about... Wait. At one point, I think there was one version of the trailer. I think it was...
you guys watched the trailer?
So it's that GP, is it Apex, whatever, Apex GP? I think that's the name of the team or something.
The team, yeah.
Yeah, so it's battling with a Williams. Then I think in the next version, it's battling with was it a Haas or something? The same corners in the CGI, I don't know what but anyway, looking forward to that movie.
Yeah. Will you guys go to theaters to watch that movie?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, I want to watch. Like, I enjoyed Rush, and if the director and the people behind the Top Gun are the ones behind it, of course I'm watching it because I enjoyed Top Gun.
Okay. Anyway,
all the best to Hamilton.
Still on Hamilton.
But don't read the same script. That Mercedes folks.
What I can say about Hamilton though. What I can say about Hamilton though, he still hasn't lost it because of the Saudi GP. We saw he and Norris having a moment whereby he actually, chewed off a huge chunk of Norris's time while keeping him at bay. There are two overtakes in which he and Norris were embattled in. They were involved in a battle.
It's that DRS play thing.
Yeah.
The one Max and Charles did some years back.
And he pulled off a move in which Norris fell for twice. And guys were like, I don't understand how Norris fell for that twice. And you guys aren't 7-time world champions, so you wouldn't understand why he fell for it twice. And that's not me throwing shade at you guys. That's me being factual. The reason Hamilton was able to pull that off was because maybe Norris overthought it. Maybe he overthought it. He was like, this guy's being crafty, eh?
I have no comment.
Yeah,
even me, I don't.
Yeah, but this
tifosi thing is.
That's just me talking about. That's just me talking about his racecraft. He still has it. He hasn't lost it. So if Hamilton is doubting himself, I know maybe he won't even see this. But I don't think he should. He's one of the greatest ever. Yeah, not my personal goal, but he is one of the greatest ever. He should carry on what he's doing. Now, speaking on racecraft, swiftly moving into Max Verstappen. Now, Max Verstappen was also caught up in an entanglement of controversy after the Saudi GP. Now, you know what? I'll even leave it to you because you're the Max Verstappen guy. I'll even leave it to you. What do you have to say about that? The whole controversial elbows out racing thing Max had going on and him serving 5 seconds, was it?
Yeah.
The 5-second penalty. It did affect his position either way. But what do you have to say about that? Because fans all over the place have a lot to say about it.
Yeah. So I'll just start by admitting Max dropped the ball with a start.
Yeah.
He dropped the ball. Yeah. But regarding the incident, I think the 5 seconds penalty was too harsh. Initially it was supposed to be 10 for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. But because it was lap 1, heavy fuel, and
Too harsh, eh?
Yeah, they decided to give him a 5-second penalty. Personally, to me, that was a racing incident. If I go into the nitty-gritties about that track and that specific turn, I do agree, and I'm saying this, that Oscar didn't leave any room for Max. He understeered after the apex in turn 1, and he ran Max off the track. If Max insisted that he wants to still remain on the track, both of them would have collided. So Max had to take evasive action and drive off the track. Okay, So here now we're talking about turn 2. The reason I'm saying it's a racing incident is, one, Oscar didn't have control of the car. He was actually understeered that corner. Max was on the racing line. If Oscar wasn't there, Max would have negotiated turn 1 and turn 2 properly. But because Oscar was there, then Max had nowhere to go into turn 2. So he had to, again, take evasive action. Both of them were at fault. Max, of course, leaving the track and accelerating, as in going away. Gaining advantage, yes, he gained an advantage from that. Piastri also ran Max off the track. He was also at fault. And that's why I'm saying for both of them, because both of them contributed to that situation happening or to that incident. To me, I'd flag it as a racing incident and just let it happen. How it ended up being a 5-second penalty from what the stewards, from the documentation that the stewards give, they just said basically it was a lap 1 incident. So instead of giving him the entire 10, like they gave to Lawson, which was just another shitty. Anyway, excuse my French. They just decided to give him like a 5-second penalty. And
before
it is like in basketball, when something like that happens, it's usually like a jump ball. Because that's how I saw it. Like when it's like 50-50.
Yeah.
If it was in basketball, we'll have Max here and Piastri here. In the middle, they draw the ball. Because it's 50-50, you can't really know who to peg the penalty on. But a question, would you prefer to him to have given back the position or the 5-second penalty?
That's what I was going to ask. Would you have preferred they switch it up and he gives the position back so that they can redo the whole overtaking again on track? Or was the 5 second, just fair enough?
Well, it's easy for me to say I'd go with Max, just keep the position and try build that gap somehow. One, with the races that we've seen, anyone who's out at the front, they will always gain an advantage, or they will always have an advantage over the person who's chasing. This year, being the last of these regulations, I think now we are hearing drivers complain the most about dirty air. So if you have that advantage there in front with a 5-second penalty, just keep the advantage and try build that gap so that when you go to the pit stop and that 5-second penalty is applied, either you don't lose the 5 seconds.
You can mitigate the damage based on how you exit your pit.
Plus you never know. As in Max being there at the front, because he was actually building a gap to Piastri.
Yeah. Hey, those mediums were on fire.
Yeah, he was actually on point. You never know. Maybe Piastri would have a incident would have happened, and I don't know. Max would have, when Max maybe was coming to pit for his first stint, maybe he would have already built that gap compared to Max giving Piastri the place, and then now it's Max who's struggling. Yeah.
Okay, fairs. Now, away from the controversial side of things with Max Verstappen. Now, Max Verstappen has been on a really, really good 2-race stint.
What?
Bahrain.
No. By 2 races.
Bahrain
we are
was
from a
shitty.
triple header. There are 3 races in the triple header.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Suzuka and Saudi.
Suzuka and Saudi Arabia. Now, both of these tracks have actually one thing in common. They have some really, really tricky corners. Now, these tracks are familiar in some way, and Max Verstappen has seemingly, I don't know if I should call it, found a way or a loophole with his car, but he seemingly found some extra performance that none of us knew was present in that car. Suzuka, for example, he got a pole out of nowhere, a pole which no one expected. And some would argue was the greatest pole of the year. Did he have the track record with that pole?
In Suzuka?
Did he have the track record with that pole?
Both Suzuka and Saudi.
I know the Saudi one, he had a track record with that pole. And we know Saudi fast corners, fast track, really tricky. But how he managed to get the pole, because we had people like Yuki kissing the barriers properly. It was a tricky one. How does Max Verstappen do it? Is he simply the greatest, or are we simply witnessing greatness and we're just downplaying it, or is that Red Bull?
That's what I said in 2023. As much as you guys, people, okay, not you, but the people are saying that it is a boring season and everything. You have to remember you're witnessing some of the greatest.
To answer your question, Suzuka and Jeddah have something in common that plays to the strengths of the RB21 high-speed corners.
RB21 or Max?
No, at the RB21.
Okay.
The car itself, high-speed corners. And Max is just Max. Max he will always go over the limit, or he'll try and get to the limit.
Push it to the limit.
Yeah, so we saw that in Suzuka with the high-speed corners. I think Suzuka only has the casino triangle, and that hairpin. I think those are the only 2 slow corners. Every other corner, it's a medium to high or a high speed.
Casino.
The last chicane.
Okay.
Yeah. Jeddah turn 1, turn 2, the tightest.
Yeah.
And I think the others you can classify them as medium to high and high speed corners. And that is where the RB21 really it thrives.
Yeah.
Remember before we shot the Suzuka, when we were shooting the Shanghai episode, I said if that RB21 doesn't work in Suzuka,
You're done. Yeah, you're done for, yeah.
yeah, that car has a problem. So I wasn't really surprised to see the car perform that well, but I was surprised and really excited to see Max take pole.
Yeah.
And for me, qualifying P1, the Jeddah one, it was crazier than the
Suzuka one.
pole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Jeddah one was hella tight.
And it's interesting because I think he took pole position with I think, was it 1,000th of a second?
So,
400th of a second. Was it 4,000th?
First run,
400th of a second.
with more fuel, it was 1,000th of a second. In the second run, it was. Okay, I don't remember.
It was hella tight. We had George.
Yeah, he was tight.
At some point taking pole.
Yeah.
Or occupying P1. Then we had Oscar and then Max. Jeddah, the entire Jeddah, especially sector 1, you either mess a line, you're done for. You hit the curb, you're done for.
And that sector 1 is where Max was strongest.
Hey man, he was
There was a footage released by Formula 1 with the ghost car of Max and Piastri qualifying. And that's where he actually built his gap from. That's where he actually had his
and
gap.
also I'll admit they told that he got from Yuki. I know from when the timer starts running to turn 1, I know it's a short distance.
It's a short one.
But he was able to gain some significant speed.
Yeah.
Leading into turn 1.
So basically, when he was crossing that start line here, he
his
had
speed
a higher.
was, he had a higher speed.
Yeah.
And he was able to. I think he gained. I think a 10th, just something shy above a 10th of a second. And if you look at how the McLaren was able to cut down that advantage after turn 1. If Max didn't get that too, Piastri,
especially in the last 2 sectors, because you could see him catching up to Max on the
McLaren was
car.
killing everyone in sector 2.
Hence why we are talking about them having the best car on the grid, because they didn't have that too, because Max was riding off that too you're talking about. Could be. Now, speaking of Oscar, Oscar Piastri has been having one hell of a season this season. 5 wins already to his belt, tied with Lando. And guys have a lot to talk about that. Now, before I get into it, care to do you have some immediate reactions to the statements guys are putting out on Lando v Oscar?
What statement? I haven't. Are fans within McLaren fighting?
Nah, I think Lando is going through a harsh one. If I'm to put it lightly, he's having one of the worst moments.
He's also responsible for it.
I know he is. That's why I wanted him to start it off.
Responsible for what? For Lando's anguish.
For the heat that Lando is facing.
What do you mean I'm responsible?
You are a contributor.
Am I the one who's making Lando to get qualified by Piastri?
Listen.
No.
I actually honestly do believe some of the hate Lando is receiving is unnecessary. Some of the unnecessary criticism he's receiving is unnecessary. Yes, it's a brutal sport. We understand that, but people tend to forget this is the house that Lando Norris built.
Wait, I thought we all agreed we are not in the business of policing people and how they feel.
Again, this
about a driver and a team.
We are not policing. We are not doing anything. We are just trying to give the viewers and the listeners some more context into what is happening and why guys are actually into him. And maybe some guys need to hear this. Some guys need to hear this.
The comments that I've been seeing flying around, not that I'm in those spaces, the Lando hating spaces.
Pseudo account. His pseudo account is P1 Yasti. And P1, P1 Asti.
You're calling me out. Kidding. So
don't try to cleanse yourself.
the smoke that I'm seeing Lando is getting is on the comments that he's making that Red Bull have the fastest car, or Red Bull was the fastest car, or the field is so close, or we don't have an advantage, or basically, that underdog gimmick, where we don't even know how, as in we don't know, we just won. But the truth is, and this is a fact, McLaren has an advantage, as in full race distance.
Yeah.
And that advantage will always give them that P1. Lando, Jeddah, he qualified P what? Remember he crashed and then he dropped to P10. By the FIA, you need to adopt the rules that WEC have. WEC, if you get into hyperpole, you bring a red flag. All your qualifying times are deleted. You start from the back.
Repeat again. When you?
So in WEC, there are two qualifying sessions.
Yeah.
So there is the first session where everyone participates. Then the top 10 get into hyperpole, which is the equivalent of Q2. Okay, or Q3 in Formula 1. So in Formula 1, if now Lando, when he crashed and caused a red flag, he dropped to P10.
Yes.
Right? But in WEC, you either the first qualifying run, or the hyperpole, which is the last, like Q3, you bring out a red flag, they delete all your qualifying. Start from the back. They don't care.
So if they applied that, Lando would have started P20.
P20, yes. Either way, Lando
I think that's a fair.
Lando started the race P10
because it's Lando. Okay.
No, it's not because it's Lando. I think that's fair because there's some guys who just try to send it for the sake of sending it. So
but it's qualifying. It's the sending that gives them that gives us first the fans. Sisi mashabiki.
Max actually,
it gives us the excitement.
Max did
More
actually
will
crash.
be on the line. More will be on the line
Jeddah.
if that was the situation. More will be on the line, and it will make drivers more like second guess themselves. Then things will be more interesting. We'll be seeing a situation whereby a driver feels and end up to crash up and is like, hey, P20 in this car, no, lays off the gas a bit, and we have situations whereby we have now Gasly leading the situation.
There's a reason why there's this. Wait, let Mushiri. There's a comment that Mushiri was about to say.
About what?
It has gone.
We're saying the excitement and just throwing it. You were saying Max crash.
Oh,
was about to crash.
No,
crash.
Max crashed in Jeddah in the last. I think it was 2020. 2027.
It was 2021.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah.
And you see some.
Wait,
also
this is the miraculous lap that it never got completed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to commute.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say, sometimes for the crash of Lando, you need to go through such things, because when we say Max, like we are praising Max his perfection, you have to know he had his fair share of whatever Lando experienced in Jeddah in qualifying. That's what I wanted to say.
And coming to Lando's defense.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glancing myself. Coming to Lando's defense.
Okay.
Lando has a challenger that he needs to beat.
Yeah.
Called Piastri. He needs to beat Oscar Piastri. And not on race. It starts on Saturday, qualifying. Because we now know that McLaren, in clean air, it will just pull off into the distance.
Right off into the sunset.
It will, itacha kila mtu.
Okay.
So to win on Sunday, Norris, even Piastri knows this. For them to win on Sunday, they have to qualify their teammate on Saturday.
Okay.
That's the only way.
We do know this as a fact in the sport. We know this is not a factual show, but this is a fact of the sport. The first opponent you have in Formula 1 is your opponent.
Wait, the first opponent.
The first opponent you have is your teammate.
Yeah.
Sorry. Apologies for that.
That was an original statement.
You
heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, the first opponent you have in Formula 1 is actually your teammate, and I think maji yameanza kuzidi unga for Oscar. That's a Swahili saying for it's getting the tides are now getting rougher or something like that.
For who? For Oscar or for Lando?
For Lando.
Actually, things are not good for Lando, man.
I actually feel for Lando to some degree. Then
what?
I sit down and remember what McLaren did to Daniel Ricciardo, and I'm like, it's okay. Everything will be okay. What happens to you in life will actually echo in more life. And it's one of those.
You'll make Mushiri shed that year.
Oh yeah. An Oscar.
Danny
Ricardo admire.
So okay,
wait, let me finish. What I can say on the whole Lando situation is I think guys are being super harsh on him, and I think part of the reason he has so many haters is because he used to have some slick comments back in the day.
And he still has those comments.
Yeah, he used to have some slick comments back in the day, especially about Hamilton being in the fastest car, and he has to win every race. He's in the fastest car. Now he's in the fastest car. He's not winning every race. And life comes at you fast. But in as much as he jumping on Lando's hate train, I don't like doing it when everybody else is doing it. That was my thing.
It was your thing.
That was
Lando no wins.
That was my thing. It was like my thing. No, you guys are now jumping into my thing. Do your thing.
I'm backing off.
You feel me? You guys, it's how it is. I'm territorial with my stuff. It was my thing.
So you want to be
next time
you want to be the only hater.
He's the only hater.
If you guys all hate
He's
him, I
the
can't
OG
hate
hater.
There's a very fine line between love and hate. I actually admire Lando. He's a Man United fan, but that's besides the point. I'm an admirer low key. Being hard on him, it's called tough love. You guys have to understand this, yeah. But all I can say is, at some point, he will pick up his slacks and he will start performing.
Yeah.
And when he starts performing, what I know for sure is those McLarens will take points off each other.
Well, he has...
Right now, Oscar is leading the championship, yeah? He's on 99 points, if I'm not
10
wrong.
points.
99?
No. Is it? 99, sorry. Lando is on 89.
Yeah, a 10-point difference isn't as big as you guys think it is. These guys will start taking points off each other. And when they start taking points off each other, the guys who are coming to collect the scraps and, run away with it are the only two guys there. Just two guys. George and Charles.
Wait, where's Max?
Hey,
Max is third in the championship.
I know he's third in the championship.
Man,
I'm going to mute your mic, but
I really honestly
I think
believe.
you should
What are you talking
apologize
about?
for that, by the Who is third in the championship?
by the way, he said that twice.
Yeah.
The first time nikata tu iende.
Even me for this one and so
No, this one, no. You have to come correct.
Max Verstappen,
No,
guys.
don't touch me, man. Come correct.
Max Verstappen, guys. Max Verstappen, guys.
Nah.
I hate to be the bearer of bad
No,
news.
come correct.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you guys are getting nowhere near that championship. I told Max Verstappen, look at that number 33. Shine it up real nice because it's coming back on your car.
Okay.
He's not defending that championship.
There was something I wanted to say about this Oscar situation. First of all, the Lando thing, the hate that he's getting, or the heat that he's getting, first of all, I think he is attracting it. Lando anafaa aseme makosa ni yangu. Because it's all to do with the interviews he does, the body language. It's more or less like Hamilton. And also, as you said, story of, or maybe the advantage, you guys are overestimating the advantage that we have and everything. And Oscar, when asked about it, he said, yeah, we have the fastest car. And if there's something, if I was to tell Lando, Oscar is not your friend. Don't play around with him. That guy is like a tiger. Yeah, he's a tiger. He's coming.
Hey.
You see those small games they are playing when they are not racing. You should
Paddles,
stop.
do what?
Competition, like I'll take a word from Djokovic, the tennis player. So if you are facing Djokovic, he says the competition starts even before you step into the field.
It's psychological.
Yeah, that's
Psychological warfare.
It's a psychological warfare. It starts even before Nini. So when you are there, it's not about like playing around with other drivers or. He even
You
like
even
in the
put
paddock, he
crickets in
went
his
and
bags.
spanked. He was spanking Nani Piastri. Is of it true. He should stop. That guy is a tiger. He's going to finish him.
Umesema hata kama anapenda latte you give him cappuccino ama kama anapenda chai tea you give him coffee.
In the Melbourne pod that Kashut, I told you guys something. Oscar Piastri doesn't need to wait for him to be given permission by the team.
Yeah.
Out qualify Lando on Saturday. That's job done.
And as I said, it should start from practice one. From practice.
Yes,
You remember
Get
even,
into your
you
teammate's head.
remember our discussion ile ukiingia jela when you find when you want to establish your dominance in a cell, you go and you just look for somebody to beat up so that you know So you're saying as his teammate, he should establish dominance from the get-go because that is what Oscar has been doing. Oscar hasn't been politicking his way into
he's
the first driver role.
He's throwing punches, man.
And I remember even I said in terms of driver number 1 and number 2, it is too early. Let's wait for the summer break. Whoever is leading is the one who is going to be supported. And as it looks, it is going to be Piastri.
Do you think Zach Brown will finally say?
Zach cannot say that. Oscar, he cannot throw Lando under the bus.
Oscar is going to put him in that situation.
We are waiting for one major incident. So where Zach Brown has to make a decision.
I swear.
We are waiting for that one major incident.
And that's why I'm very confident when I was saying this. Those two McLarens, they will take points off each other. Hey, we saw it with Weber and Vettel back in 2012, was it? 13? Whenever that was. We saw it with Hamilton and Rosberg in 2016. We saw some shades of that with Ricardo and Verstappen in 2017. And now, in 2025, Oscar
and Lando.
Yeah. And
I'm really happy that will happen because they will take points off each other. These guys, listen, guys are thinking this is a done and dusted thing. It's not done. It's not done.
Hey,
we are only 5 races in, 19 more to go.
Yeah.
19 more
I have
to
a
go.
feeling Lando is going to come back swinging properly.
And I know he will.
And
I know he will.
And I will tell from the interview. I will tell if this guy is when he said that you don't have to be a good guy to you don't have to be a bad guy to win. Hey, Bana.
Now
you have to be ruthless, man. Do you think Max would have won 2021 championship if he wasn't ruthless?
What he did?
He could have won 2023 by being a good guy, but he was winning with 20 seconds. Now,
21, he actually, if he never won 21, he wouldn't have opened the portal to the 4 championships.
If you are winning with 21 seconds, you can win by being a good guy. But if quali, you see, by the way, the difference gap in quali, this is the smallest we have ever had. That is the margin you're playing. So,
and that's why I'm talking about these cars are closer to each other than people actually expect them to be. The McLaren don't have the advantage people expect. People think they have.
Maybe on Saturday, but Sunday they do have an advantage.
I mean,
I will die on that hill.
Their race pace is actually impeccable. It's actually really good. But
it's better than the rest.
But these guys will catch up. These guys will catch up.
Still, even if so, we have seen how much clean air gives you an advantage.
Yep. It's for everyone.
Just be in front. Max has won a race this year, yeah?
Yeah.
And he won because he was also on pole.
Yeah, he started on pole.
Yeah.
And if there was no incident on in Saudi and he was still leading, he would have won that race. He'd have won. So as much as they have that advantage, still qualifying ahead. You see Hamilton how he's suffering because he's not even qualifying ahead.
He's qualifying as
yeah, that is what is actually
even anytime
since 2022.
I won't even talk about it.
Lando, man, stop those games playing with Piastri. That guy is
speaking.
It's like somebody. It's like Piastri is behind him with a knife.
Stop playing, man.
Anyway. Now speaking on teams on form, we have Williams who have actually really
P5 in the championship.
But we expected
punching
above. They're not the best of the rest.
They're punching above their weight.
What do you mean?
They were performing themselves.
Brother, what? They have Carlos.
But yeah, we did expect
Carlos
that. Carlos has that about him. Anytime he goes to a place, he just makes them better. He makes the team better. Anywhere he goes, he just makes them better. He did it at McLaren. He did it at Ferrari. He's not doing it at Williams. So kudos
even
to
in
Charles.
Renault.
You know what? Ebu kwanza tupe Charles makofi yake.
Charles
I thought we were at Williams.
the Tifosi in this guy, man.
Carlos. I'm sorry. Carlos. The applause was meant for Carlos. Not Charles. Carlos. Anywhere he goes, he makes the team better.
He deserves
the Carlos applause.
Yes, the Carlos applause.
Why are you giving Carlos an applause?
Because everywhere he goes, he makes the teams better.
Really?
Yeah.
But James Vowles he's been transforming Williams.
So you see Carlos and James Vowles who
No.
You want James Vowles as applause?
Hey, wait, you want to take flowers away from Carlos?
Yes, I'm going to take flowers away from Carlos.
Okay.
Because the car that they have now, do you think Carlos helped
in developing it?
Yeah, because now we are saying drivers help build cars.
You know who I'm feeling sorry for? You know who I'm feeling sorry for? Albon in the whole grand scheme of things.
Why?
Because Albon was used to lavish life, you know.
And
Okay, let me give Carlos.
Selling shoes. He even established. Ukiona mtu akona masaa ya kuuza viatu. Ukiona mtu akona masaa. He has trying
no
to make
pressure.
sure.
There's no pressure.
On the paddock.
There's no pressure to deliver, bwana.
It's like Bottas when he was in Sauber.
He has time to sell calendars.
Just feel the grid, man. Carlos Sainz enters the
Alex
chat.
Albon. I'm not throwing shade at his business or whatever. I'm just being honest.
Nah, but you're throwing shade at
He
Carl.
had time
Alex.
because there he knew when it comes to Saturday, who am I with?
Colapinto.
No. Logan Sargent.
Yeah.
You know what? He'll just make me look good. He'll make me look good. And this is no shade to Logan again, but that was the fact of life. And he was just there. Now Carlos has come into the picture, and Carlos is now, extracting everything out of that car.
It actually started with Colapinto.
Colapinto was the first person to make him remember.
We could see Alex.
I need to. He was in his comfort zone.
Yeah, he was really comfortable.
Let me give Carlos his flowers and why I
Again, this
appreciate
is not a factual show.
Yeah, not.
and if you remember, I've been in terms of level of driving. For me, Max, okay, he's a tad a bit ahead of Carlos, but Carlos is right there. Like if you say the top drivers in F1 Formula 1 right now, people will say Max, will say Charles, will say Russell. I'm not denying it. Carlos, for me, he's in there. And
I like how you started with Charles, but continue.
I said what people are saying, so I was quoting other people.
Still, I like how you look.
Now, then again, as you said, where the team finished in constructors before Carlos entered the team, they've always improved after he joined them. Starting from Renault to McLaren, and now if we are seeing it in Williams, although we are barely into the season. So, looking at Carlos, how he is performing, and how also he is. The thing I liked is that he was being asked about. We are seeing sometimes you're performing well, and sometimes you're not even sometimes you seem far off. What is happening? He said it's more or less the same what Hamilton is saying. But the body language to him is when he came to Williams, he said he's not just coming there for a vacation. He genuinely wants to improve Williams so that they can achieve good results. And for him, for this season, to be making it into Q3 and scoring points. So whenever he gets that, he'll be happy. And we are seeing him do that.
Yeah.
So, that guy.
Another round of applause for the smooth operator.
Yeah.
How many points does he have now?
Enough.
I don't know how many points he has.
He has enough.
How many does Alex have?
I know
10.
Enough. They have enough
Yes.
points. I know they're now P5 in the constructors at the moment.
Yes, a strong P5 with 15.
Strong
15
P5.
points. Well, I do agree. There's definitely some progress in Williams having Carlos as the other driver. Something which is quite evident is now we can see both drivers. They can try and get into Q3, or they can try help each other get into Q3, and even come race day, they can actually help each other.
Like in Saudi.
Like in Jeddah, yeah.
They were fighting off Haja.
Haja was coming real quick. And,
We are going to talk about it.
Who had to give Sainz had to give Albon a 2.
Yeah, Sainz was told, Manze,
sorry,
you
DRS,
have to pull your guy because
Yeah.
he won't survive Haja.
Yeah. So Williams, of course, right now they're in a better shape because now they have both drivers who can help each other out to bring more points home. Compared to the previous years where they only had Alex. Another driver probably has crashed the car. Or the other driver is down there. I don't know.
They're supposed to save money for R&D, but the money is going to.
But in terms of Williams, let me put some asterisks because they usually perform well in high-speed circuits like Monza and Jeddah.
Yeah, they do.
So
Very slippery.
yeah. So let's wait for the other races.
Yeah, but my flowers. The reason why I was saying it's maybe we're too quick to give flowers to Carlos. Those flowers need to go to Mr. James.
Mr. James.
Yeah, James.
Because he's turning Williams as an upside down. We're talking about Williams where we
It looks like a serious establishment right now.
Yeah,
if you're being honest, it looks like a serious establishment.
they are having serious.
Actually,
sponsors
them
coming
two,
on board.
those two principles are one. Actually, three.
Who and who?
Three. But them two principles.
Who and who?
Him and Ayo Komatsu. Those are the team principles that I've looked at and I've actually been like.
Yeah, but Williams is sorry. Haas is going through it. But
Yeah, right now they have to go through it.
They are very consistent in being inconsistent.
Yeah,
But
they
what
had one
happened?
bad race.
I
They
had
had a
high
very
hopes
good
for
race.
them.
Then they had
Really?
another bad race. Then they had an okay race.
Yeah,
I mean,
In Bahrain, they finished both in points, huh?
yeah.
They had a really good. No, they had one bad race. What was it? Suzuka. They had a very bad race.
Yeah.
Then they had a really good race. Because I think, what's his name? Behrman started, I think, P20 and he got into the points or something like that.
Yep.
In Bahrain.
Yeah. And then, Suzuka. And anyway, it is what it is. Now, your thoughts on Yuki so far?
Hey. I don't any questions. You guys will be finger closing. I didn't ask any questions. Let's proceed now.
So those for who?
Yeah?
Yuki.
Okay.
Let's proceed.
Flabbergasted.
No, I just wanted to be sure.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on his performances so far since being promoted to the Red Bull second seat?
I think he took the challenge or the bull by the horns. Get it? You don't get it. Yeah?
For those who understand.
Yeah. So when I say he took the challenge by the horns, I mean he already knew this guy is tricky, and he didn't shy away from this challenge. And even in the interviews, you're saying, "I'm up for it." And I think at one point he even said, "I'm going to beat Max."
That's the kind of attitude Lando should have.
Yeah. As in, he's not the Lulu. He's actually.
He is
getting
not
on
the
top
Lulu?
of- Funny thing.
I'll
by
beat
the-
Max. He's not the Lulu.
No, okay. Let me land with the statement.
Land.
Why I was saying he's not the Lulu. It's because he's saying Max is the person who I need to beat. So I am going to take up this challenge and I need to work on myself and get one with the car to get to
You have to admire that,
Max's level.
You have to admire
Now,
that.
the reason why he's actually backing those words with action and with facts is since Suzuka, look at free practice. He's been like 2/10, sometimes even a tenth away from Max.
Yeah.
Yeah? I am really impressed with the work that he's done so far. And I think Red Bull, and I do agree, Red Bull did make a mistake in putting Lawson in that car. Putting Lawson back or taking Lawson back to Racing Bull is actually a good thing for Lawson. It's one that
Bad for his
gives
confidence, but you know.
it's bad at that particular point when he was being demoted. It was bad for his confidence, but now you can actually see he's actually
Picking himself up again.
Yes, and that is what even Marco said. Like
It's not a
we are
demotion.
it's not we're
He's just been
giving
given a different car.
pass, and we're giving him an opportunity to like the VCAP 02. I think that's the name of their car. It's less challenging than the RB21.
Yeah.
So he can like sharpen his skills there. But at the Red Bull team, they definitely need someone who will get on top of that car. And Yuki right now is a guy who's perfectly suited for that job. And he's been enjoying driving that car.
Enjoying.
He's been enjoying it.
Okay. Interesting choice of words there with the enjoying part.
He is.
You, any sentiments on the UK situation?
I'm happy with his performance, and also most importantly, I'm happy with his attitude.
Yeah.
His attitude is.
I could agree on the attitude part. I will agree on the attitude part. I think it's
You have to be the Lulu to still maintain that attitude when you know you're going up against Max.
yeah.
You're on that number 2 seat at Red Bull, and you're driving such a tricky car.
Now, last but not least, your driver, team, and Melon of the triple header. Who wants to take this one first? Driver, team, and Melon.
Driver is Max.
Triple header.
For Bahrain, things weren't so good, but since he took pole in Japan and
The
Saudi,
Japanese and the Saudi poles, that's enough to tip it to Max. That's enough to tip it to
and
Max.
also finishing P1 and P2.
A lot of points. That's 25 plus 18. That's a lot
Yeah.
of points. What
So-
about you?
I'm giving OJ Piastri.
Consistency.
consistency, and he decided, you know what, I'm not going to wait for permission
I'm taking it.
to win the race on
Power has
Sunday.
never been given. You do know that there is a saying. Power has never been given.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I'm going to win Sunday.
But
on
I
my-
think
on my
this
turn.
battle, if you ask me, when Nani Piastri established that dominance, is that overtake in Monza last year on Lando.
Actually,
I think that is where.
will you crown Piastri the overtake king on the current grid?
He did something bad. Alifanyia Hamilton maajabu.
Okay, currently I think even Max said it. He hakai mtu sheki mtu wasiwasi. He looks like
He knows what he's doing.
He looks like he knows what he's doing, even if what he's doing is nuts or appears to be nuts. He looks like he knows what he's doing. So as for now, as you're saying about the overtaking, that overtake is a contender for the overtake of the season by the
Last year he gave us two. The one on Norris at Monza.
that one Monza.
Yeah. Even Norris was like, what? Someone can overtake over here. And even Charles at Baku.
I
Turn one.
remember. On
Why am I forgetting the Charles one?
On the outside. Turn one, Baku. Beautiful overtake.
on who?
Charles.
Charles.
Oh, Piastri.
Piastri on Charles.
I don't
Beautiful
remember that.
overtake.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's my driver. He's my driver of the triple header, not just because of the overtakes, but he decided to take charge at McLaren.
Well, just to, for the sake of variety, I'm going to give it to Haja. Haja has really impressed me a lot. Oh, yeah, Kimi. There's some inkling deep down naniambia nichague Kimi pia.
Kimi, it's that hate that you have.
Yeah, there's some inkling.
By
There's
the
some
way,
inkling.
I need to say something. I don't even know where to say. I didn't know when to say it. Bearman did drive last year in Jeddah, isn't it? He finished closer to Charles than Hamilton finished closer to.
And you see, that is the point. I wanted to make that point when I was saying Ferrari should just bring in Bearman. Like,
Unajua you're lucky some guys wanaweza kuwa fall off listening. So now you can say it without expecting the backlash that you will have received. But anyway, yeah, I think I'll give it to Kimi / no Haja / Kimi. Those were my drivers of the triple header.
Kimi.
He was
Bahrain-
decent in qualifying.
At Bahrain, Mercedes spoiled his race. Yeah, but I think he was bound to finish way up.
Yeah.
In Bahrain.
He dropped.
And I was really impressed. Was it Suzuka? I was really impressed in how he handled pressure from Hamilton. And then Hamilton started dropping off because Hamilton started pressuring him. Then his tires gave up on him, and he started dropping off. And I was really impressed in how he was taking charge. And there was a point he led the race.
Yeah.
There was a point he led the race.
And he became the youngest person to lead the race.
yeah. And I really like
Then
him.
he went and did his homework after that.
Yeah, he looks solid. And knowing what is
And
going
he
on
asked the judge
in his
for-
life also. And how he's dealing with George Russell. Because they seem to be like having a solid partnership or whatever.
Hey, he's a rookie, but to some degree he's keeping George honest.
Yeah, keeping George very honest. And but anyway, that's it from us here at the Pitbull Discussions. I hope you enjoyed the talk. Please, if you're watching this from YouTube, leave a subscription there. It will really help us. We're really trying to grow the community. Also follow us on Insta. Interact with us on X, formerly Twitter. If you're listening to this from Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, please, we will have a way for you to interact. We will put a poll up there. If you want to hear more from us, put a poll up there. And if also you want to you want to be part of a group chat, participate in these discussions, just follow our socials. You'll find your way to the group chat, or just DM us from wherever social platform you can reach us from. I've been your boy Ace, the trouble man himself, joined here by...
There's something I need to say about subscribing, because 90% of the viewers
Get it out of the way.
90% of you guys who are watching haven't subscribed.
Yeah.
What's up, bana?
Yeah.
If you were charging people to subscribe, that would be another thing.
Yeah.
But it is free.
Yeah. Could really do with your subscription, yeah. So, who are you?
Oh, Mushiri.
Yeah. the stat man himself. And to my right,
Done. Whether you're a diehard fan or a newbie, this is the Formula One podcast. You can't ignore. Okay, I've messed up my outro.
yeah, you messed up.
Land the plane, man.
Yeah, so anyway, catch you guys on the next one. We can't wait for Miami. Colin come any sooner. And we'll be here. For guys who are looking to watch the show somewhere, just, pay attention to our social pages. We'll have something for you, yeah? Yeah, peace out.
Welcome to Miami.